Hello, QVSAP World History students. I hope you are having a good weekend, and I hope that last week was either productive or restful or even both. But now we need to get back to work, and in doing so, we are going to move into Essential Unit 3. It will be open for the next 3 weeks. However, like the first quintile, the second quintile is going to be very similar because in the first quintile with essential units 1 and 2, we looked at the time period from 1200 to 1450. In quintile number 2, the time period that we will be focusing on is the period from 1450 to 1750. So unit 3 and 4 will both cover that time period. So it will give us lots of time to really learn about the different features and events that occurred within the context of 1450 to 1750. It is an important time period. In the first of the two units, Unit 3, we will take a look at land-based empires, while in Unit 4, our focus will be on maritime empires. So you know that in this time period from 1450 to 1750, that in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, and in doing so, there was the European discovery of the Americas. That set off a monumental event in world history referred to as the Columbian Exchange, which had a large effect on interactions between the old world, Eurasia and Africa, and the new world, the Americas. So in that unit, we will take a look at the Columbian Exchange and spend a lot of time talking about how it impacted the Americas and how it led to the colonization of the world forged by Europeans in that time period. But before we get to the maritime empires, we have to spend 3 weeks looking at the land-based empires, or oftentimes in world history referred to as the gunpowder empires. So you learned that during the Song Dynasty that the Chinese had developed gunpowder and then began to use it in a military capacity. Well, that technology eventually spread into Europe and across Eurasia. And the empires that came to prominence in the period from 1450 to 1750, the Ottoman Empire, the Safavid Empire, the Russian Empire, and the Mughal Empire are referred to as gunpowder empires. So if you don't know where those are, let me take you to the course page and talk more about what you need to do this week. So let's go to the course page. That's not it. There it is. And let me work you through your responsibilities for this unit. We're going to do a project, and I look forward to the results of this project. I've done this project for a few years now. It's called Autopsy of an Empire, and I'll give you a few more details in a little bit. But let's take a look at the map first. So these are the different land-based empires. Oops, I forgot the Qing Empire. So including that dynasty in China, the Ming and the Qing dynasty, really existed during this period, the end of the Ming and the beginning of the Qing. So we're going to take a look at all of these empires. They're referred to as land-based empires or gunpowder empires. They included Russia, that it expanded after the Mongols were defeated and the Romanov family came to power. They ruled Russia for a long period of time, and throughout their rule, Russia expanded in terms of its territorial capacity. The Ottoman Empire, which is one of the longest lasting empires in all of world history, it didn't encompass as much land as the Russian Empire, but it definitely was very powerful, and it's an example of another Islamic empire that expanded its control into Europe. And then we have the Safavid Empire, which was smaller in scope and contained and based in what is present-day Iran. And then you have the Mughal Empire on the subcontinent here in what is present-day India. And then, of course, the Qing Empire. It's one of those dynastic periods within the context of Chinese history The Qing Empire was similar to the Yuan dynasty in that it was not ruled by the Han, and the Han are the largest ethnic group in China, but the Qing Empire was ruled by the Manchu people who are from this northern region of what is present day China. You can click on this map and you can listen to Mr. Heimler give you an overview of the period from 1450 to 1750. So I would encourage you to listen to it. It's short, it's only about 8 minutes long. So go ahead and listen, click on the map and listen to the overview of the time period. And then you can see that the pacing for this unit is 3 weeks. If you take a look at the outline of work for you in those 3 weeks, there are a lot of work packed in. So make sure that you stick with me with the pacing so that you finish the unit in time and we can finish unit 4 then before winter break. Here are the readings and lectures that you have access to. There's the AMSCO textbook that we always use. Freemanpedia is a nice resource for AP World. All of the Heimler videos for this unit are here. I have a supplemental textbook that you will use in the project on the autopsy of an empire. And then there's a couple lectures here that are optional for you to listen to on Asian empires and the rise of Russia. The note-taking template for the reading is here. And then finally, let's get into week 1. I'm introducing the project immediately so that you can use the 3 weeks to complete the project. So if you open up this project link here, you'll see the map again because that's the focus. I've divided the different empires amongst you, so please look for your name down here and the empire that has been assigned to you. And then of course read through the directions. But you're going to know that the link here will open a website that's very important to your success in this project because this link right here outlines everything that you need to do. And depending on what empire you were assigned, if you click on any one of these, it will open up some more detailed information about that empire and some more resources for you to use to be successful in it. So essentially, you're going to conduct what's called an autopsy. On the main page here, you have a printable human body. So if I open this up, this is going to be the focus of your autopsy. And in the autopsy, essentially what you have to do is explain to us what were the major components of the empire. And in terms of the empire's decline, what was the major cause? So if you understand what an autopsy is in real life, it's the medical procedure that doctors conduct on people after they die to determine the cause of death. And I'm asking you to do that for the empire that you have been assigned. Now, you're going to have to present this autopsy, and I'm going to kind of leave that up to you in terms of how you want to present it. Like you could create a Jamboard with this human body and attach like different information about the different features because you're going to have to outline, like here are the directions right here. You're going to have to outline the head of the body, who were significant leaders in their accomplishments within the context of the empire, the hands of the body, art and architecture and technology, so on and so forth. So it's really all outlined for you in terms of what needs to be on the different body parts, but I'm going to leave it up to you in terms of how you're going to present it. Because you do need to present it. And when I say present, I mean, we want to hear you talking about the different empires. So you can create a Jamboard, you can create a PowerPoint, you can make a paper poster if you like. There's some examples attached down here at the bottom. Like this one right here, this Holy Roman Empire one is a PowerPoint example of what one of my past students had done. And there are, in this other one here, there are some other examples. Oh, this one right here. are some other examples of what students have done within the context of this project. But you need to verbally present it as well. So I'm going to ask you to record yourself. I like Screencast, and I will send you the link to Screencast, but it doesn't mean you have to use it. But why I like it is because it records everything that's on the screen of your computer. However, if you're going to do a paper pencil poster project, you might want to use your phone and recording device that way. And then you're going to have to send me the link to your presentations so that your classmates have access to your presentation, because we are going to use all of these autopsy reports to collectively do this land-based empires note-taking sheet together. Now, your project doesn't have to be completed until the assessment week, until the end of the week. But it's important that you work effectively during week 1 and week 2 so that we all have access to your presentations, okay? And then I tried to keep the rest of this week fairly light, just so that you would have time to get started on the project. There's a lecture for you to listen to right here that's about a half an hour long, and then there are some questions for you to answer about the world around 1450. And then I just put together a small little activity here, kind of introducing to you how these different empires expanded in the early period of 1450. And then here's your note sheet for the AMSCO reading, which is 3.1. So you probably could complete the lecture in a day and the Empires Expand activity in a day, leaving you like 2 to 3 days to kind of get started and wrap your brain around this project that I want you to do within the course of this unit, okay? I'm happy to answer any questions on the autopsy of an empire project. But the most important thing is that you get started immediately. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself rushing at the end. And generally, when we rush on projects like this, they're probably not as wonderful as we expect them to be. So again, one more time to wrap it up. You've been assigned one of the empires. You have to do research on the empire to describe the different features of it, whether the political, the economic, the social features of it. And then you have to do an analysis. So based on those features, which one contributed mostly to the decline of that empire? And after you put all of that together in the form of an autopsy report with visuals, whether it be on a PowerPoint or a poster or a Jamboard, you have to present yourself talking about the empire, the different features of the empire, and which feature most contributed to its decline. I hope that is clear. I'm happy to help. If you need more clarification or more information on the assignment, and I can help you either through Skype, Zoom, or email, whichever you prefer, please contact me and let me know, and I'll talk about the project with you and even about your specific assignment. In the meantime, have a good week, and if you're not done with units 1 and 2, you really have to push to get those units done so that you can be successful in essential units 3 and 4. Have a good week.